frequently get asked by newer students about the strangeness of the Oyata punch and the philosophy or principle from Taika of arm straight then bent. And how do we train that, particularly if you've started in another style where you're constantly going up or even back here to this high rib position and doing your punch. I even did a little bit of the Oyata angle on it, the snake punch. But how do we train ourselves to come up with that arm almost straight? So naturally, the angle, my arms naturally when I relax is about 165 degrees as opposed to 180. The philosophy is I want to keep that bend all the way up to center and then rotate into the punch. Or if I'm doing my pin and float drills, my arm is staying at the natural bend all the way until I'm at shoulder height with my hands open. So a couple of things we can do to train this. One of them, you just get light bungees. We're not trying to build massive shoulders and other muscles and slow our body down. We want to get somewhat speed, keep the speed idea going. So we don't want giant muscles to slow us down. So just whatever, you can pick up 10, 20, 30 pound bungees. They're not too difficult to lift, but what I'm doing is I'm lifting my arms straight. I'm lifting my arms straight. So you can just do static straight drills to where we're doing this motion, but keeping the arms from bending. So I'm not going 1, 2, I'm just going 1. Much quicker speed, as I've discussed in other videos about pin and float, fling the water off your fingertips, those kind of things. But I can just do static ones like this, and it's helping me remember to not bend that arm. It's helping me kind of feel some pressure that wants to straighten that arm as it comes up. After you get kind of used to that, you can do some other drills. Again, I would keep with yellow 10 pound, green 20 pound, 30 pound. The red ones are slightly red, I guess. If you're huge, muscular like Andre the Giant, feel free to ramp it up a little bit. But I don't want a lot of resistance. I just want enough resistance to keep my arm straight. So that's the straight drill. You can also, as we do our typical pin and float drills, we're going high, low. So covering high, I can cover my whole face here as I bend. I'm covering shoulder height, groin, and then I make this cross motion, right? I'm force efficient, parry, and then bend. Doing that with bungees, I can come up, come across, and do my bend. So a drill that I like to do early on when I was first learning this was just these kind of motions where the bottom hand is coming up under the wrist, bottom hand's coming up under the wrist. Another thing that can kind of help you mentally, what I want to do is I want my fingers flinging open. So a way to drill that is just with some sort of weighted item. So these are 2.5 pound cannonballs, and this is just a cannonball snatch drill. So arm straight, I'm teaching myself to open my hand as that comes up. Teaching myself to open my hand. And then you can obviously, put in side motions as you're doing it. But every time I go up, that arm is staying mostly straight. I'm obviously not hyperextending myself. I don't want my arm so straight that my shoulder is lifting. I want my shoulders to stay pretty much where they are. They rotate, obviously, so slight perspective, but I'm throwing it up and snatching it. So cannonball snatches. You don't have cannonballs, you're a scuba diver, here's some just lead shot weights, right? You have some small, and again, I don't want to be doing this with 30, 40, 50 pound weights, but I can do this with these lovely little kettlebells. I can even flip them around because these are five pounds, so they're twice as big as the actual cannonballs. But I can do my cannonball snatches. I can do kettlebell snatches. Change your grip a little bit. So those are some very simple things that I can do. Another thing I like doing is these are just 3-pound sledges, little mini sledges. Is kind of like I'm doing the speed walk or maybe some sort of cross-country skiing action, right? But I'm training my arms to not want to do this. I'm training them to stay mostly straight till they get shoulder height. And then I can bend them, all right? So right here, my bottom arm is straight, top arm is straight, then bends. Straight, bends, straight, bends. Very simple little exercises you can do. Now, the Oyata punch, if it's punch or back fist, this motion comes up till the pinky hits the center, my elbow is free of my ribs, and then the hinge is on the thumb side. So it's coming center, hinge, and rotate here. Another thing you can do is, here's just some small 5-pound kettlebells, is I'm coming up center, and see my arm as I come pinky to the center line, to the vertical center line. See, my arms are not bending. My arm is staying straight, and then rotate. Straight, pinky is at center vertical line, and then it rotates to force efficient, to where the index knuckle is at the brachial plexus. Here, 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 here. That extra little weight, and it doesn't have to be that. I can switch to the balls here. I'm here, these are 2.5 pounds. I'm here, rotate out. Here, rotate out. Ideally, I can chamber OyataTe after the first one, but I don't want to do a ton of reps of bringing it back to the ribs. So if I pin and float and step out, center line perspective for you is that it's outside, but because I move my body, it's now center line. When I return, it's force efficient. So again, I'm just tricking my body to feeling weight so that I get used to not doing this. If you've trained in other arts, you want to bend that arm and punch it. That's 2 directions. The more I bend it, the slower the punch is. Now, you can get a little bit of kinetic whip, but there's a time and a place, right? Kinetic whip, if I'm striking something, is very advantageous for me. If I'm just doing a straight punch, I'm seeing an opening and I want to go to it, that is twice as slow as going straight arm into it. Again, just a few tools that I use to kind of help some people. Take it or leave it.